I wake up every morning in a different place and time. I thank God that I can live the way I choose.
Ferguson, first of all, family, Ferguson Family, it's been a pleasure and being here 2.5 days with you guys, getting to know you, being a part of your family, and just seeing you guys work together. I can't thank you enough for the opportunity for me to be here.
We've enjoyed you being here, daughter also. It's kind of like you just said. I like to see families together just like y'all, you and Riley have too. So
well, we really appreciate it. All right, so first question. The cowboy way of life. Did it choose you or did you choose it?
Well, for me, put a little thought into this, but I believe in free will. God gives us all free will. So I believe that I chose it myself, the cowboy. But I believe as time's progressed here, I look back and I see that God blessed me. So I believe that He agreed with my choice. I believe He's happy with what I'm doing because over the years, I've been blessed over and over and over again. So I truly believe I made the right choice, but I also think maybe He pointed me in that direction too.
So you do believe that He called/created you just for this type of lifestyle?
Well, it fits me. I'll put it that way. It's all I think about all the time, breathe it. And like I say, I probably, since I was a teenager, that's all I've ever thought about doing. Exactly what I'm doing right now is to cowboy and have some country of my own and run cattle of my own. And it's always been a dream, and it seems like everything I'm asking for, He's giving it to me. So that's what I'm saying is I believe that we all have free will. I made the choice, but I think He might have directed me in that direction because I believe I've been blessed too many times not to Him agreed with my decisions. So.
Well, the one thing you feel is that it all kind of, you learn and grow as you go, but did it all just come like just natural? This is what I was born to do.
It's been natural for me. Honestly, I don't know a whole lot about anything else but this. And, it's people accuse me of being a thinker, and I am, but this is all I think about for the most part. I just, everything to do with this business, whether it's the cowboy part or the running cattle or the business aspects of it all, I've tried to evolve over the years with the help of some really good people. And Tom Morehouse is one, and John Morehouse is another. John's my very best friend, and he's been a mentor to me over the years. We've been partners for over 20 years, and it's just kind of, I guess that's part of my answer to you is I think God's put people in my life that's helped me to develop to where I am today.
Though at times the road gets lonely, I can't settle down. I gotta win, 'cause I can't stand to lose. 'Cause I was born to be a cowboy, full of dreams and broken bones.
I was going to tell you something. This was last Sunday, but I read a poem, and I'm not a poem reader, but it caught my eye, but it's called The Old Cowhand, and you might have seen it or read it. But what it talks about was an older man going out to Brandon and his kids and his grandkids and his great-grandkids were all there. And he was watching from over the fence, and he'd see his sons that he raised, how good of hands they had learned to be, and grandsons pitching in, and he'd smile. And then the poem went on and said, some of his neighbors had gone to four-wheelers and camped tables and things like that. And they were telling him how much more economical it was and cheaper and less labor intense and so on. And, and he smiled and he told them, he said, I'm not just raising cattle, I'm training cowboys. And that fits with me. And anyway, his story progresses there, her poem does. And at the end, the neighbor calls and said, hey, I've got a bull that got out. I've been over there on my four-wheeler trying to get him in. And went out of daylight. He got hot and mad. And he said, in the morning, when you see your grandsons over there, he rope that bull for me and drag him in the trailer. But that's kind of, and he smiles. Every time, every paragraph in that poem at the end, the old cowman, he smiles. And in saying all that, that was Sunday morning. Sunday we went to church, but you know how church has been. But we had it outside. We go to Barnhart, Texas, little country church. It had some nice trees, and it was a nice, pretty morning like today. And I got to looking around there, and several things made me think of that poem. And one was a friend of ours who had lost her husband recently was sitting next to me. And anyway, her husband, Doyle Shaw, one night we were at Bible study, the three of us, and it kind of choked me up a little bit, but Doyle was getting older, and like I said, soon after he passed away, but he said, Johnny, you're blessed. He said, you're here and your two sons are here. And he said, that says a lot for you as being a father. And I really never thought that much about it until he said that. But anyway, I thought of Francis, and I looked over at Jake and Kelly, his wife, and two grandsons. They were sitting over there, and Jake was leading the children's sermon, and just how happy everybody was. Then I looked at Josh, and he had a nice girl with him there that was glad to be there. And I looked at them, and I smiled every time I had these thoughts. And it just went along through the day. Every time I would think about that poem, I'd see things. We met up with John and Tom and them in Seymour on the way up here. Well, let me go back to my story a little. But before we left, we had our horses loaded to come here because we were kind of on a schedule, like I always am. But anyway, we were loaded up and ready to go from church. Well, my grandsons, they wanted to go out and see their horses, and before we left. And the smallest one, Grayson, he loves old Pawpaw pretty good. Both of them do, but especially him. And he was saying he wanted to go with us, Pawpaw. But all that would make me smile, and I'd think back to that poem, how the poem went and how it made that old cowman smile. Then my wife, too, also, she gave me a hug and kiss and told me she's going to miss me, don't be gone too long. And that made me smile. But just everything about it. And then y'all being here, seeing Tom and John, my friends, that makes me smile.
Well, I hope
and
we
then,
make you smile.
Just like
very good.
Like you said, it's all about our family. Then I watch Josh or Jake when we're working, and I see how hard they work, and how they've progressed over the years, and hope someday, my prayer is that my grandsons will be here, maybe my great grandsons. I hope to see that, and be helping us, and it just continues to evolve. And those things are what make me smile.
What do you feel like them grandkids are in a spot where they don't have much choice?
Well, I hope that's the case. Yeah, they didn't have much choice, but anyway. But I hope that's the case.
They might need more of no choice.
But I think about all those things, and it kind of goes back to your original question. But God's blessed me without a doubt, and with my family, with the friends I have, the people that I work with, it's just everything in my life's just kind of clicked along. I'm not saying there hasn't been, rough road students. There has. I know there'll be some in the future, but as the years have gone by, it just everything I ever asked for, I seem to get. In a way, it don't come immediately, and it's not easy, and it's a lot of struggle, and a lot of stress sometimes because you know how all that goes. But it all comes around, and when I go to bed at night, I won't promise you I'll do it every night, but I try to thank the Lord for that, and I hope that makes him smile back at me.
Oh, you know, well, it sounds like you're being a good steward with what he's given you. The Bible says that who takes care of a little receives a lot. And, when God keeps taking care of those, take care of business.
I gotta win, 'cause I can't stand to lose. 'Cause I was born to be a cowboy.
Now, you're the quiet one. Jake here likes to talk a lot. Josh, you don't like to say much. But what do you think? Do you think that this cowboy way of life, did it choose you or did you choose it?
Well, we grew up, we was, 3 or 4 we was together in big pastures. He'd lead us around, and you like it then, but we did it for 10 years or 15 years, and you kind of get burned out in a way a little bit, because just work all the time. So there for a little bit, you kind of just maybe not sure of what you should be doing, but you really think about it. Kind of came back around to it, So, but I'd say I chose it too. but because that's what I want to do, you know.
You enjoy doing it?
Oh, yes, sir. For sure.
That kind of makes it better, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Well, let me ask you this. In that middle there where you, and I know what you mean.
Oh,
You just work. And you
Yeah.
get to this point, you're like, man, I wish all my buddies were going to the lake,
Yeah.
going hunting, and we got to work. And I know that pulls on you every now and then. And some of us, you know, wouldn't like me. I left, and boy, it didn't take me long to get back, you know, because you just, I don't know, it's inside of you.
Yes,
You
sir.
get rid of it. So
Kind of in your blood. Kind of hard to get rid of it. You know,
So you're in your long,
yes, sir.
as long as it's buck y'all.
Yes, sir.
Born to be a champion, I can feel it in my soul. 'Cause every time I win, it just keeps driving me on.
All right, I'm going to ask y'all this one. So what do you feel most grateful for? Now, I'm not picking on Jake too much because he's already answered most of these questions. What do you feel most grateful for?
Well,
Start.
go ahead. Okay.
You want to?
No. Well, I have a 3-year-old son, and we have a lot of fun together. He goes everywhere with me. I'm ready to see him. I'm going to see him today, so I'm kind of ready for that. But I don't get to see him all the time, but we try to make the most of it.
Will you, huh?
Yes, sir.
Oh boy.
He's wild. He's wilder than me.
Probably like a dad, huh?
He never slows down. No naps. He's a wild man, but he's fun. Every now and then, I sneak away sometimes.
Go find you shaker.
Yes, sir.
Broke my neck in Frisco and then my heart in San Antonio. I left a part of me in every place I've been. Boy, you think I'd learn my lesson? I'd give it up and go back home.
Jake, here's my question for you. The cowboy way of life, did it choose you or did you choose it?
It chose me. God put it in my path. He gave me a family that already had the cowboy tradition in it, and I feel that I'm here to pass on the tradition to my family and just to keep it going. And I think that a lot of the cowboy tradition can be kind of translated to the Christian tradition as far as the values and the character and a lot of the characteristics that God has. I think that kind of is what a cowboy is. I really do. So I think that I think I was created to do it. And I think that God brought me into it, and you know, my dad being a cowboy for a long time, you know, and him having me and my brother, we were born into it. So,
Yeah, man, he nearly worked you to death today.
yeah, I was a little bit tired this afternoon.
Golly, I was like, man, he's not going to give y'all a break. He's latching and breathing,
he was
he?
testing it.
I can't settle down, I gotta win, 'cause I can't stand to lose. 'Cause I was born to be a cowboy.
Do you want to tell everybody what happened in December?
Sure. Okay.
Something amazing happened in December, and I want him to share his
All right,
testimony with you.
December 5th, 2019, I went on a walk to Emmaus in Luders, Texas, and I told Joe here that I went there and I thought that it'd make me a better person, and I tell a joke that the Lord was telling me, Jake, you have no idea what's going to happen to you. And man, I think back to those days and just everything that I went through. It was a 3-day retreat, and you know, you go in, you don't know anyone. I'll try to make this short. You go in, you don't know anyone, and you know, you're at a table with a bunch of guys. There's like 5 of you at a table. You have a table leader, assistant table leader, and you have some other guys at your table. And I think there might have been 5 or 6 of us. And you don't know them, and you don't have any idea what's about to happen. And before you know it, you have people going up and telling their testimonies, and every topic is labeled, you know, anywhere from piety to priorities to just guys talking about their marital problems and just different things that are going on in their lives, and how with everything, the Lord, he can save anyone from anything. You know, I sat at a table with a guy who was an Aryan Brotherhood member, who was tatted from head to toe, and by the end of the Emmaus walk, I was giving this guy a hug, telling him I loved him. And that is the power of the Holy Spirit. It is the power of the Holy Spirit that I can never, ever explain, because it's something that, you know, people have experiences with the Holy Spirit, and it is so powerful. I mean, I have felt it, I have lived it, and I don't want to get away from it. And so, you know, we went through that deal, and I got done, you know, and I remember at the very end we had a closing ceremony, and I was joking around with the assistant table leader, and I told him, I was like, man, my wife is not going to be ready for me. She's going to be like, who is this guy? You know, because I went in and I'll tell the viewers or whoever that the biggest thing that I realized is I was a very selfish person. And I think us as human beings are selfish, and we think of ourselves way too much. And that's one thing that I laid down, and I really, truly have tried to be selfless. And I feel that if Jesus is living inside of you, then you're able to do that because you feel the way he feels. The 10 Commandments feel like they're embedded inside of you, and you want to follow those because you love him and you want to live for him. And so I joked around with him, and I was like, man, I don't know if she's ready. And to this day, my wife, we have a great marriage. We've been married almost 8 years. But there's sometimes where I just have to be like, shut up and don't talk about Jesus, you know, because she hasn't been on a walk. She has a lot of faith. She's a great woman. I'm so blessed to have her because, you know, you realize what somebody is once you go through something like that, and you kind of realize the deep root. Either you have deep roots or you have shallow roots that you've built in your marriage.
Okay, the one thing I want to ask you, you get home, what did your wife think? Did she see a new you?
Oh yeah, she said
Well,
that it was just unbelievable. Yeah, she's just you know, she just saw so much love in me, you know, and that was the love of Jesus, you know, with me, and yeah, she saw it, and I was on fire. That's the term, on fire. And she, you know, it's funny though. It's not funny really, but there's times where she would kind of see me do something, and she's like, babe, I don't want you to go back to where you were. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. I mean, because we have a constant battle between, you know, things that good and evil is a constant battle in the world, and that's a constant battle within ourselves too. Not saying you're like an evil, mean person, but you're just being a little bit maybe a way that you don't want. Right? It's a battle. Yeah.
It ain't an easy life, but it's the one I chose, and I was born to be a champion. I can feel it in my soul, and every time I win, it keeps driving.